stuff, but it's one of the reasons why I didn't list it up here, because it's not a sole method. It's just something that used to clean up things or used at a garage sale, one of those things, but still, nonetheless, a very useful tool, especially if you don't have a lot of time to test everything. Let's talk a little bit about the rest of the equipment you're going to need when you go out and buy. I take my set of acids, as you know. You're going to have your scratch stone and your test needles, which is what we've seen. The other thing that is absolutely crucial is a jeweler's loop. It's a little device that magnifies things either 10 or 20 times. It makes it really easy to read the markings on the inside of a ring. And there are times you can read it with your naked eye, but there are also times where the stamp's kind of worn off in there, or they didn't strike it very well, and you really need some magnification to be able to tell what it says. The loop I have actually has a light on it, so it gives you, even if you're in someone's dark, like a dark room, if you're at someone's house, which, like I said, don't go to someone's house, but if you are at like a friend's house or something, this light gives you the added light you need to be able to read anything in any kind of lighting. So jeweler's loop, very essential. They're really getting pretty reasonable, down in the anywhere from $10 to $100 range, but $10 and $20 ones work just fine. The $100 ones are all corrected for distortion, so they're extremely clear, but definitely a must on that. The other thing is a pair of pliers like this. They're called flush cut pliers. You can get them at a bead shop. A jeweler could probably order them for you. What these really are used for is, like, if you have a solitaire mounting, someone's got a diamond in it, these flush cut pliers will get in there and you can peel that diamond out if they want their diamond back, or if you bought the diamond and you're at home cleaning your scrap out before you send it off and you want to keep the diamond, you're going to use these for different things like that, cutting things apart, getting into them, breaking apart pieces of jewelry, but this is extremely useful. Other thing is you're going to want needle files. These are just small, thin files, different shapes, triangular, flat. This is used for kind of more of the destructive purpose, but let's say this is a piece of, obviously a piece of scrap. No one really cares about this. You want to make sure it's gold. You can make literally a deep enough scratch mark in it that you're through any plating. Put that 14 karat acid on there, watch the reaction. If it doesn't bubble and go crazy, then you most likely got a piece of gold. Then you just have to determine whether it's 10 or 14, but that's a way to ensure. This is something I really like to do when I'm buying from like my bigger dealers who all their stuff's scrap and they're, it's not jewelry they're sentimental to. If they give me something that's 50 or 60 grams, I'm definitely making some, little notch marks in it and testing it to make sure I'm not buying anything that's just a really good fake. When they get really heavy like that, you want to be cautious because you can lose a lot quick. One of the other tools, like a bench scale, this is nothing fancy, but I've got like 50 scales. Bench scale is nice to have in your car if you're going to do a lot of silver. Like flatware will weigh a lot. I mean, flatware can be 100 ounces in just a set, or even 200 ounces depending on what they have. And you're going to want a bench scale that you can put like a Tupperware bowl on and fill it up with silver and do your weighing all at one time. So these are like high capacity. This is 5,000 grams this scale will hold. When you're doing gold though, you're going to want what they call a little pocket scale like this. They have a little cover on them. These are more accurate than, say, the bench scale, and it's what you're going to want to use for gold. This, as well, you can set it down. You can put a cup, like a container on there, anything that doesn't hang over the edge and touch it, but you can put it and then fill it up with anywhere from 100, 200, or 500 grams. It depends on what your pocket scale has a maximum weight of. Generally, when you're doing gold, you just, one that does 200 grams is fine. What I care more about is its accuracy. Is I want it accurate to 0.01 grams, being that to the 100th decimal place. If it's just accurate to the 10th decimal place, it's not going to really cost you a lot of money, but it does make it more difficult. Sometimes people have just tiny little pieces that they'll be wanting to weigh. The other thing is, if your scale weighs in different modes like grams, penny weights, and carats, carats like the weight of something, like the weight of a diamond, I'll get into that here in just a sec, but the more accurate it is, the more you could even weigh like a gemstone on the scale. You could weigh something smaller, so it's good to have a really accurate small scale and then a more of a high capacity bench scale that you bring with you. And really kind of the last thing that you need is just like a receipt book, something to keep track of your buys, so that you can record them all, and so you, one, just kind of know who it was, the date it was. People generally want some kind of receipt, but more or less I use it for me to keep track of how much I spent. And kind of a fun thing here, you actually even nowadays have tiny pocket scales. I mean, this is actually extremely accurate. It weighs in every type of mode. Got this recently at a gem show, but it fits anywhere. So if you're walking around the gem show, you can pull it out, look at something, estate sale, quickly weigh something. It's pretty discreet. Most people don't even notice you have it. Those are also kind of handy. What I want to cover now, though, real quick, when I was talking about the scales and the way they weigh, I always weigh in grams. You want to weigh in grams. That's just the way it is. It's the best method to use. There's also penny weights, and you'll hear people use penny weights. Penny weights, really, some refiners use it, some jewelers use it, but penny weights, the difference is there are 20 penny weights to a troy ounce. There is 31.1, and I'm going to write this up here for you. We have 20 penny weights equals 1 troy ounce. Sorry, I ran out of room here. 31.1 grams also equals 1 troy ounce. The reason why I think some people are still using penny weights is because if you take $1,000, let's say this is the spot price of gold, and divide it by 20, you're going to get a larger number. You're going to get 50 than if you take $1,000 and divide it by 31.1. So what you'll see is when people quote prices on their website, or they quote a price, they'll say like 10 karat gold, and they might have a price of like $29.50, and you're going, dang, that's pretty good. The other side I looked at, they said they're only paying $21.40. Well, this one might be paying grams, and this one's paying penny weights. In all reality, you might actually be getting more for your gold from this one than you are from this one. Penny weights is a little deceptive, and most people also don't know that there are 20 penny weights to a troy ounce. A lot of people don't know there are 31.1 grams to a troy ounce, but I mean, penny weights, we don't use it at all anymore. People at least have a concept of grams. And most people are somewhat familiar that there's generally 28 grams to an ounce. Well, we're talking about troy ounces here, so it's 31.1. But those are at least close enough, and people have an idea of what a gram is. Not many people know much about penny weights. So to me, it's a little deceptive to use it, and I just prefer not to use penny weights when I'm doing it. But it still comes down to, it's your choice. The other thing I want to talk about real quick is the difference between carats and carat. Carat with a K is talking about gold's purity. 10 karat gold, 14 karat gold, etc. Carats with a C is a weight. This is a measurement. This might be an option on your scale where you can push a mode till you get the mode that says CT for carats. This talks about the weight of something, and generally we're talking about the weight of a gemstone or a diamond. So a 1 carat diamond, that is actually the weight of the diamond. It doesn't matter its size. It could be a really deep diamond, so it doesn't look very big on top, but it could be a 1 carat diamond. It could be a really shallow diamond and look enormous. It has nothing to do with its size. It has everything to do with its weight. So a 5 carat diamond is definitely bigger, but that's also because it just weighs more. So carrots with a C, carrots with a K. Because when people will throw around the term carrots, there may be, you need to catch which one they're talking about, you know. But I just thought I'd clarify that because it's a, you know, another question that I'll get a lot.